Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to another video on Starseed Academy. My name is Jenny, and today I want to talk about a few things. I'm not sure what to even call this video because I want to cover a couple of different things, including timelines, spiritual lessons, and spiritual teachings, and how those are all coming into play right now. Because there are so many different timelines existing right now, like so many. And the thing about timelines is anything that can happen is happening. So that means every possibility, every potential future, past, all of it, it's actually happening at the same time alongside each other. They're actually kind of stacked on top of one another. And when there are so many timelines existing at once and everyone is on a different timeline because everyone is at a different place within, and it has a lot to do with the spiritual lessons that you're working on. And again, there are so many of the spiritual lessons just in one spiritual journey for one person, so many different lessons. It's actually never ending, and it's just as far as you get in one incarnation. And then there's also spiritual teachings. Like so many people are teaching in so many different ways and teaching so many different things because, like I said, we're all on these different paths with these different lessons that we're facing, different timelines. Like, it's confusing. And I feel like people could start to feel like maybe they're being left behind in a way, or just feel overwhelmed, confused, not really sure what to turn to, not really sure what to believe is true for themselves anymore. So it can be really easy to feel kind of lost with it all, right? And so I wanted to take this opportunity to share with you a little bit of my understanding on how it works to ease that feeling for you if I can. Because the truth is that the next step for you, the next step that's right for you, the next step on your path, it will always show up at the right time. Because as we're making our way through our spiritual lessons, and as you graduate these spiritual lessons, and as you're progressing along on your spiritual journey, then your energy actually changes with each lesson that you graduate from. Your frequency, where you vibrate at, it's actually going to lift up that little bit. Because you've graduated a lesson, you've gained the wisdom from that lesson, and you're ready to move on to the next thing. And so your energy itself kind of changes, bumps you up a little bit, and you are seamlessly bumped up to the next timeline. We don't even realize that it's happening because it's so seamless, and this is the natural way of things. And so as you're progressing through these beautiful lessons and you're getting all of this wisdom, and some of them, we cycle back to and we try again, and some of them we get right away. It's always different. But as you graduate, as you pass one of the lessons, and you really understand it within yourself and you gain that wisdom from the lesson, then your energy, it can't help but actually change. I mean, it lifts up and it alters your actual energy, your DNA. And in doing so, you just bump right up to the next timeline where the next lesson will be waiting for you. So as you make your way through your lessons and your energy changes to reflect that, you don't leave others behind. They continue to exist alongside you on their own timelines because there are many timelines in play on Earth right now. And so you don't leave, your family or your friends behind as you're bumping up in the timelines. You actually continue to exist alongside the population of Earth, each member, each individual on their own timeline, because each individual is working on the lesson that they're currently on. So you could think of it like a classroom with many different students, all with their own assignments, but all still sitting within the same classroom, because Earth is very much like that. So as each one of us lives in our respective timelines or in our respective desks in the classroom, then we are free to create the lifestyle that we choose and create the next lesson that's coming up for us. And you've seen this in others, haven't you? When they're struggling or going through a lesson that you've already graduated from. Everything that they're explaining to you that they're going through sounds so familiar. Whether that be, letting go of ego mentality, or going through some kind of a difficult relationship crisis, or they're going through a difficult work environment. And as they're explaining it to you and how frustrated they are, it's so familiar to you. You know you've already had that lesson. And you kind of smile to yourself a little bit, knowing that they're going to be just fine and that the answer is going to come naturally for them as it came for you. Sometimes it just takes time for us to really see what's going on. And remember, once we see something, once we see the limiting belief that we're trying to clear, once we see the lesson, the blessing behind the situation, it becomes so much easier to graduate from that lesson and gain that wisdom. And in a situation like that, you can offer a little bit of advice if requested, but truly that individual will need to experience it for themselves. So they need to experience the piece of the puzzle that they're missing. So there's something in that lesson, some kind of piece of wisdom that they need to see with their own eyes. You can't show it to them because it's a deep understanding within where everything kind of just clicks and we go, oh, like one of those aha moments. So you can't really give that to someone. You certainly can't force someone to arrive there or rush them before they're ready. And they may have to repeat the lesson, right? We all have had to repeat lessons, and we know that, when we continue to date the same kind of person or continue to have the same kind of lack issues, like lack of abundance. So we know that, and especially if you're observant, you're living with the eyes of your soul as the observer. You see yourself even repeating these lessons. You're like, oh, what am I not getting? But once that person gets it and they pass that lesson, they graduate because they've gained that piece of the puzzle, which is always the wisdom and the understanding that they were missing, then they too will move up to their next timeline, and it's seamless. I truly believe that there are infinite timelines here on Earth and in the universe, right? Just infinite timelines. I don't think that they have a limit because I know that our lessons are not limited. We can continue to grow and evolve and gain wisdom the entire length of our soul's journey, not just on one incarnation on Earth, but many incarnations, many, many lifetimes. The learning never ends. And so I truly believe that there is a timeline for each state that you're in. And as you graduate a lesson, your state, your energy, your frequency, it rises up. And then that would be a new timeline because you're different. It would have to be. And so it's almost as if each timeline holds its own few lessons or even a single lesson, depending on how big it is. And we kind of just go through a couple at a time. Maybe you're undergoing a few lessons at once in that timeline. And then as you graduate them, you bump up. Or maybe it's one big lesson like forgiveness. And then once you truly hold that frequency within you, it changes you. And then you're ready for the next one. So with each graduation, we kind of just move up. But we're always where we're meant to be. And there are so many souls on Earth right now that you're never alone. You're never alone on your timeline. There's always someone that's going through exactly what you're going through when you just click with them and they just get it. And this can be why we resonate with a certain teacher, like a spiritual teacher, so much. But it can also be why we can outgrow said teacher. So you can resonate with somebody if you're on the same level as them, on the same timeline, working through the same kinds of lessons. But then as soon as you graduate from that, it kind of just doesn't resonate for you anymore. This actually applies to relationships as well, any kind of relationship. But if that teacher or that relationship is growing alongside of us, then they would always be in our same frequency, vibration. We would always feel like we were resonating with them. It's when one grows and the other doesn't, right? One stays stagnant or stuck a little bit, and one kind of grows past that. Whereas when they grow together in a relationship, or you're growing together with a teacher or a friend or whatever it is, then you continue to resonate with that person. You continue to have so much in common with them. And that can be rare, but when it happens, it's so magical, it's delicious, and it's beautiful. And there are other times even still where you keep passing each other. Like if someone got a lesson and you didn't quite get it, but then you got two, and then they're like, it's all, like you're always going past each other. That can actually be really helpful too in a teacher or in a relationship, because you're helping each other, because you're both just as invested in your growth, clearly, if you're kind of staying on par with one another. Because how rare would it be to grow at the exact same rate as someone? Though I'm sure it does happen. It's such an intricate process, and it's so incredible and amazing to me. It's like a miracle. And the amazing thing is that this is happening in every dimension. Like, it's not just the third dimension, fourth dimension, fifth dimension. It's the higher dimensions as well. They too have their own lessons. Angels even, like you think that they have it all figured out, but no, they too are still separated from source within an incarnation. Even if they're just a light being, that's still an incarnation. And they are still separate from source in that lifetime. So they're going through lessons. They're raising up through their timelines. They're working on things. Everyone is, every soul that's in an incarnation. But it's beautiful. And would you even want that growth to end? Like, would you want to end up where you finally, get back to source, where you've been through all of these levels and these dimensions and you just know it all? Isn't there always more to experience and to learn and to understand? Because there are so many different kinds of potentials, different possibilities. Like I said, anything that could potentially happen, or any kind of possibility, it creates a timeline for itself. So I don't know that you ever do get through it all, but if you do, would you even want to? Maybe so. Resting back in the arms of source, just existing in that pure bliss, that love and light. And we can probably choose as souls to take time out of incarnations and just go back to source and kind of rest in that beauty. But we continue to choose to come back for more. We continue to choose these incarnations. And all of us have probably had lifetimes on higher dimensions already. Yet here we are back slugging it in 3D. We're choosing the experience because Earth is so unique. Being a human is so incredible. Actually, the next video that I'm doing, I kind of have it written out already, and it's about embracing your humanity and why that's so important right now, and why you chose to be a human, like just how special humans are and all of the different qualities that make them the best, vehicle for learning these lessons. So anyway, just wondering what you all think about this, and if you see yourself going through the lessons and kind of making those steps up on those timelines. I'm sure that you do. And I'm sure that you also, just like I do, see it in others around you. See others going through something that you've been through, or going through something that you can't comprehend or understand, but you know you'll get there. And in the dimension that we're in the time that we're in 2020, in this great awakening, we have the opportunity to grow in this one incarnation like more than ever, any other lifetime you've ever had, because all of the transformation energies, the evolution energies are so powerful on this planet right now. And so it's truly a gift to be here. So if this subject matter interests you, then you are definitely going to want to check out my next video, because it's going to be all about these kinds of lessons that we're learning here as being humans, and the evolution taking place for us, for the collective, all of it. So make sure that you subscribe, because I do new videos every Sunday, Monday, Wednesday. So it'll be the next video whenever this one airs. And please also like and share this video. I always appreciate all of your comments as well. Like I said, let me know what you think. If you see yourself already on all of these lessons, sometimes you know what lesson you're on. Sometimes you're waiting for a lesson to arrive as you've completed one, and we're all at different points, but we are all in it together. We're all going through it together. And remember, there are so many souls on Earth right now. There's always going to be someone who resonates with you. And so I'm so glad that all of you are resonating with me currently on this journey, and I hope that we continue to grow together. If you want to have a one-on-one session with me, I do healing sessions, but I also offer readings, psychic soul readings, and these are really magical. They dive into your past lives with tons of detail, and they also dive into your guides, your angels, all of your different spirit guides, whether they be ancestral or starseed spirit guides, or the angels or your higher self, or whatever it may be. Lots of messages coming through from them as well. So I'll leave my link in the description below where you can find all of that information. But until next time, please remember, listen to your heart and the quiet voice within, because you are so much more than the body you're in. Have a great day. Bye.